All right, we back, baby. It's that DDF Podcast, and it's week 6, post-week 6. And, oh look, some more injuries came across the board this week, and most of them going from the Commish's team. Andy barely squeaked out that win against me to remain undefeated. And did we set a new record for most points scored this week? We'll have to take a look at that. But it was a big week for a lot of us. I think we had 3 or 4 of us break 200 points this week. But some of us also didn't have a great week. I think there's a running joke about certain people and how they perform right now.
Yep.
But boys, I don't know about you, but it was a really close one for me. It came down to Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. That Joe Burrow 40-yard touchdown run killed me. Almost took down Andy. Almost got the guy that's undefeated, but just missed it. But guys, how did you guys do this week?
I guess I'll go. My team overall did really, really phenomenal. Unfortunately, they ran into a brick wall, and my older brother, who now holds the record for most points in a single week, with 219.10 was the official score for him. I put up a good 180, so I, put up a really good fight. Top 3, finished 3rd in scoring this week, and unfortunately just faced one of 2 people that could beat me this week. But overall, team did really well, even without Malik Neighbors. I'm not sure how I'm thriving the way I am, missing a key wide receiver, all 3 of my key wide receivers for that matter, Rice, Cup, and Neighbors all still out. But 180, respectable loss. I tip my hat to my brother, wore my respect shirt just for him.
You wore the respect
Shout out.
Was it Derek Jeter?
Yeah, it is. Derek Jeter. The S is the 2. So,
Gross.
But no, respectable loss. Sucks to be 3-3 on the year right now. Thankfully, I only dropped 1 place, so I'm 4th overall. Could have been a lot worse. Thought I was dropping at least like 3 spots, so happy that it's 4th. Yeah, that's it. I didn't get hit with any injuries, thankfully, this week. Unlike some people who just keep getting hit week after week, unfortunately. It really does suck to see a team that has the potential that he's got to just see how much of it's on the IR or on the bench. It really does suck because he's facing Andy this week, and looks like Andy might be 7-0 after this. So,
Yeah, that he is me, by the way, for anybody listening. My team is hot scrambled dog shit. It sucks so fucking bad. I did suffer some injuries this week. Travis Etienne got knocked out with a hamstring injury with negative points, so that was pretty fun. Marvin Harrison got knocked out with a concussion, so maybe he'll get better at catching after his head got knocked off his head, like shoulders, I guess. What else happened? I don't even know, man. I got there's not a lot of production outside of that. Kelsey was on bye, so I didn't have my best tight end. Justin Jefferson was on bye, so I had no chance at receiver. Puka Nacua is fucking damn near dead to me, so I'm really getting pissed off at that. What happened? The best thing that actually happened to me was my 2. Well, I did have only 1, but this recent week I was able to acquire a 2nd rookie quarterback for mere peanuts. I didn't have to pick up or drop anything. It was pretty sweet. So the highlights of my week were Caleb Williams lighting up the Jacksonville Jaguars and Drake May actually putting on a decent performance against the Texans. I think either one of those guys might have been a better play than Josh Allen this week, but I mean, whatever. What can you do?
Looking at it, Josh Allen technically by fantasy points performed better than Drake May.
Okay, well.
But Caleb, on the other hand, was 8 points better.
Yeah, he had a really good game.
That's what I'm gonna bring up. We were talking some really mad shit about Caleb Williams, but he seemed to have started to click a little bit. In the past couple
that
weeks,
offensive line is starting to block.
Well, there's
That's what it
that.
is.
Also,
Because DeAndre Swift's shown up the last 2 weeks too. So
well, that helps, but also this is like the first week that he's had all three of his top receivers healthy in a while too. So
Yep.
it helps also
Good.
to play a very, very bad team.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking
Which-
of wide receivers, what do you guys think of Aaron Rodgers winding up with Devontae Adams again and saying bye-bye Mike Williams?
And I am blown away that that they were able to get Devontae Adams for so little. It felt like very little. We keep seeing all these big paychecks going out to different skill positions and things like that. But not only Devontae Adams, but Amari Cooper also going for what's, like, to use the Commish's terms, what seems like mere peanuts.
Well,
I
I mean, you also have to consider their age too. Like Devontae is like 31, I believe, and Amari is 30.
He's got 2 more years. I think Adams has 2 more years, just like Rodgers. They're going to finish out their career together with the Jets and get a ring if they're lucky. I doubt it, but
no, not the AFC.
I think fantasy-wise, if I was an Alan Lazard owner or a Garrett Wilson owner, I hate this trade. Because you have Aaron Rodgers' best friend back on his team, and that's who his target's going to be.
Well, let's think about it like this. How does this affect the 4 teams that are involved? We can start with the Jets. Obviously, this hurts Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
I think that Garrett Wilson has been... His main or his best attribute was the fact that he was getting targeted like crazy.
Yeah.
I think it is at a certain time, like he's probably charted or on pace for like 180 targets or some shit like that, which that never happens. That always tapers off.
Yeah, the
But-
past 2 weeks he's averaged over 100 yards a game too.
Right. But I do think that if he's running against the number 2 corner as opposed to the number 1 now, that's probably not going to hurt. Devontae Adams is obviously going to creep in on the red zone targets, which is going to be kind of a pain in the ass. But honestly, Garrett Wilson doesn't score a lot of touchdowns anyway, so I mean that's not that big of a change. The Raiders, after losing Devontae Adams, this shoots like Brock Bowers to the number 1 target on this team, and
Yeah.
like he's got nothing but like open highway in front of him to be the number 1 tight end this year. And that's a wild thought because that'll be 2 straight years that a rookie tight end finishes as the best tight end.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time that ever happened. The Cooper to the Bills, I love because I have Josh Allen. I'm selfish in that regard. But definitely it helps the Bills with like actually having a number 1 wide receiver instead of having to
clear
guess. Yeah, exactly. Like a very clear one. Like you don't have to rely on Khalil Shakur or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Shakir.
Yeah.
Throw Curtis Samuel into there.
Oh,
Keon
Curtis.
Coleman is still getting 2 attempts a game.
Well, Keon Coleman, like he was thrust into a position where he wasn't going to be thriving. To be honest, he's not the number 1 receiver, or at least not yet. He needs to get acclimated to if he's running like opposite the number 1, he could be really good. But as the number 1, he's going to struggle because he's a rookie. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But I do think it's probably good all around for everybody on the Bills because this legitimately frees up everybody else. And Amari Cooper, the thing that he's absolutely been known for is his route running. So this could be like a real game changer for the Bills' offense, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns, however, David Njoku,
They can,
maybe.
yeah.
Who else do they
Jerry
have?
Judy.
No, but seriously,
Maybe.
who? Not we were giving serious names, not Jerry Judy. Like who else?
I mean, that's
Would
really-
say Elijah Moore.
That's
maybe
true.
say-
That's really. If we're throwing Jerry Judy out there as wide receiver number 1, that speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's not great. Like for anybody on that team. Like, so I'm
Yeah,
thinking
you're
David
looking at
Njoku is probably going to be the runaway number one target priority, which is handy because I have him too. So hopefully I can start him over Travis Kelce when he's shit in the bed.
And is he back yet?
Njoku, yeah, he played last week. He got like 5 catches, I think, for like, I want to say 57 yards, somewhere in that range.
Okay. I couldn't remember if he was back or not.
But what do you guys think about this whole thing?
God. It's not just, I mean, there's been some pretty big trades happening today already, but just Devontae's move, Aaron Rodgers, he's already called Garrett Wilson a younger Devontae Adams. He has come out and said that he is a younger Devontae Adams, but now he has the actual one. He has his best friend back. From a NFL standpoint, it's good for the Jets. It's good for Aaron Rodgers from fantasy owners because now he has his best buddy. Garrett Wilson owners are going to be hurting themselves for a little bit. Well, I think, like we said, I think it's fantasy owners are not going to love it for 2 years. The Amari Cooper move is huge for the Bills from an NFL standpoint. I mean, that offense was missing something from that receiving core. As much as people don't like Stephon Diggs because he's a drama queen, he brought that clear one option. People don't like him. What's up, Joe?
Yo, what's going on, fellas?
Shit.
Hey, we have a brand new introduction to make.
Yeah, we gotta. Well, let me finish off my statement here, and then we'll let Joe introduce himself a little bit.
Please do.
But just to wrap up my point really, really fast. You know, when you have a Stephon Diggs at the Bills, like I said, drama queen, no one likes him as a person, but he had that clear number one, and there he goes. He was that clear one option. Once he left, they didn't have that. So something just felt like there was always something missing with the Bills. But now they have that clear number one with Amari Cooper. I don't know. I guess we'll kind of see what happens, but I see the Bills kind of just up to their possibility of a deep playoff run and could see themselves in their conference championship.
Maybe. I think their defense really needs to take a step up from where it's at right now.
Defense definitely will need to step up.
If the
I were
defense
them, I would
plays
try
like
to-
it did last night,
Well, I would try to trade for Hassan Reddick. Just steal him away from the Jets.
It's not a bad call. Let's see if we can get Joe back in here. He was in and out for a little bit. He was jumping in and out. Let's see if we can get him back. Let's see.
Broadcasting through a hurricane.
That's true.
I think the Browns are rebuilding, trying to gather around whatever they can, and that's probably why they saw, hey, we can ship them off, we can get something for them at this point, we need something to help us get out of this shithole that we've put ourselves in. I mean, I like the trades. I knew the Devontae Adams trade. We all knew he was going somewhere. Of course, ended up back up with his best friend over there with the Jets. Like I said earlier, sure they'll finish out their career, probably 2 years max there together, finish it out together, and that's probably where they'll both retire from.
Man, damn. He keeps dropping right on time.
Yeah, it keeps up right at the exact time.
I know, right?
Get
Right.
ready to
in
talk
the process
and
for the bill to end.
We'll blame it on the hurricane. We'll blame it on the hurricane.
But no, yeah. I mean, the Jets got a steal in Devontae Adams. The Raiders are trying to figure out their sorrows like they do every year. So they're always in rebuild. But to watch a wide receiver to watch a tight end go from tight end 1 to reception 1, basically, in one fell swoop is going to be insane to watch Brock Bowers just blow out now that he's going to be clear-cut number 1. So,
but now that Joe is here, we'll let him introduce himself. Joe, why don't you introduce
say,
yourself to the people, whoever
I
listening
think
to us.
I'm good. I'm trying to get this link all set up.
Yeah.
I'm the
We can
older
hear
brother
you and
and
see you.
Okay, that's good. All right, that's all that matters. I'm the older brother to Nick, the terrible towel waving POS. Also, my most recent loser to the record champ for the most highest scoring in the single week. I have won the title once in this league, but none since we've merged it into a Dynasty. I've been playing this in this league, since I was a kid. Like 13, 15, something like that, man. It's
You were like, what? Yeah, somewhere, your early teens, for sure.
early teens. Now I'm a full-fledged adult. So, but glad to finally be able to join the crew for a podcast real quick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and for the listeners out there, whoever's listening out there, if we have any of you out there, if Joe does have any, if you're watching the video of it, or you can hear, or just listening on like Spotify or something, Joe he fought through the last two hurricanes. So give us a little bit if there's any technical stuff. Joe got through a couple hurricanes, so just be patient with us as we figure that out. So we're just happy that Joe's here. He's okay, and
luckily
Joe broke the record for most points.
I was really nervous. I really thought that I was going to get a stat correction or something and fall just shy of that record, but I was able to hang on to it, and now 2-4 doesn't suck so much, I guess.
Hey, I'm sitting right there with you at 2-4, and I can guarantee you have more points scored than me. So
I do.
I would kill for 2-4.
It's okay. It's okay to see him beat my record, because now it just shows us two at the top and not Andy and Matt. So as long as Andy is nowhere near the top of that record, I'm okay with that.
I mean, you still have. Well, you watch this week
He's
when
a
he
threat.
plays me. That's
Say,
when teams fucking go off, dude.
Yeah, he's a threat. He's a threat at any time.
He is always a threat. Yes. Oh, absolutely.
It fucking sucks, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't have one goddamn injury on his fucking team. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's
I know. I was
one of the
looking
lucky
at
ones.
Pacheco. That's all he's got.
Please, cry me a river.
Yeah.
He did get fucking murdered with goddamn his running backs taking a shit, and two of his top goddamn
Wide receivers.
Oh, give it a couple years. Have you seen the ages of his players? That's why they're still young. Give it a couple years. He's going to be struggling with the same shit we are when our rookies are ready to go.
Well, I just worry by then.
His rookies are fucking 30 after he's won 8 championships. Fuck you.
Exactly that. That's what worries me the most. Is he'll win 2 or 3 in those times, and then at that point, who cares? He already won his belts and he cashed out.
But we talked about this earlier too. Is look at the teams that he's playing against. I mean, he's not always scoring these high scores.
No,
There's
but when
a lot of these games where he would get beat by 7 of the other teams in the league. He's just facing some of the players. They're the teams that are finishing low. I mean, this week, for example, no offense, Ryan, Andy only had 150.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 5 other teams that would have beat him this week. He got lucky with the way the schedule worked out for him. It's not necessarily that his team is always better. He does have a well-rounded team. It's just some of these victories are just the strength of schedule.
Every Sunday his team shows
openly
up.
admit my team is not one, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
can
every
definitely
Sunday
promise you that he will not have somebody score against him this week.
Well, and we just had number 5 jump in. Mr. Balake, welcome in.
I exist.
We know you exist, dickhead. Shut up.
Blake
we're
got a haircut and cleaned up.
Yeah, look at clean, a little fresh.
He can't grow facial hair. Don't do that to him.
Yeah, that's all that is.
I know the curse.
But right when Joe first hopped in, we were talking a little bit about the recent trades that happened today. So either Joe or Blake, if you guys want to just kind of dive into your thoughts a little bit, the Devontae trade, and then if you want to talk a little bit about Amari, or even the Cam Akers move, if you want.
Yeah, the most
Any
important
of the
one, Cam
trades.
fucking Akers.
Yeah. Cam Akers going back to Minnesota.
There's
No.
one person that cares about that trade, and it's Cam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
And as far as Devontae goes, oh my God, I am so shocked. This is my shocked face.
I can see it.
Like,
Yeah, like
you had to know he was gonna go
we're
there. The Raiders aren't doing anything.
and LeBron James of the
Perfect.
NFL and the LeBron James of the NFL is calling his shots. He's firing coaches, running his teams, getting all his homies for one last ride. Like
Yep.
Jordy Nelson's going to come out of retirement next. Like it's just going to be getting a little nuts over there in the Jets.
Look forward to seeing Jordy back in action.
Comes in and runs nothing but slants.
And then
the white Michael Thomas.
He gets
and then the Cooper one. The Cooper one's kind of interesting to
4
me
snaps a
because
game, and they're all slants.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of role, because obviously Keon Coleman really hasn't caught on there in the offense as much. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of dynamic Amari Cooper brings to that team, if they still remain like a run-first team, or if bringing in Cooper enlightens their offense to where they have now some legit weapons through the air.
So I think it makes perfect sense. I think Amari Cooper going there makes all the sense in the world, in the sense that they need a possession and reliable wide receiver. They didn't have one. I mean, that guy, his hands are like glue. He's been great anywhere he's gone. He runs some of the best routes in the NFL, and he's reliable as shit. So I don't that's what he needs. That's what they lost in Diggs. So I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. And Amari doesn't care about where he goes. I mean, he'll be happy that he's got a quarterback the caliber of Josh Allen. So
I was just about to say,
we were talking about that before.
What an upgrade. Deshaun fucking Watson to Josh Allen. That is
Yeah.
a crazy upgrade for
I
anyone.
mean,
That's
that's kind of the ramp that he ran, right? He had not great quarterback play in Oakland while he was there. Then he got traded to Dallas, so he got an upgrade there going to Dak, and then he downgraded back to the land of misfit quarterbacks in Cleveland. Now he's upgraded back again, and it's just he kind of rides this wave of, I'm going to have good quarterbacks, I'm going to have bad quarterbacks, and no matter where I am, I'm going to produce. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I mean, last year, when was it with Flacco where he put up like the team record?
Yeah.
In one game, was that Flacco?
Yeah, but
Flacco made everybody better, just like he's doing this year.
Just like he's doing this
Yeah.
year.
Well, he turned fucking David Njoku to the number 1 tight end of the last 7 weeks.
Yeah.
He crushed it because he actually knows how to throw the ball. Something that Indy fans are probably pretty worried about with Anthony Richardson. So
I think they're less worried about him throwing the ball and more worried about him staying on the field.
Yeah, just staying healthy, man.
sorry, Joe.
Yeah, it's what happens when you get
I have
pretty
a shiny
aggressive.
new quarterback I picked up off of waivers. If anybody wants him,
I think we're definitely broken records over here right now because every week there is some big injury that's been happening. I mean, Kyle is going to be hurting because he had Aiden Hutchinson, and he was putting up Defensive Player of the Year games this year.
Kyle scored 200 points this week. He's fine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say, I don't think he's
He'll be all right.
He just came in second to all-time point scorer in Joe, so
I mean, Aiden's a huge loss for his defense, but his offense is clicking. So
yeah,
I wouldn't worry about him.
anything
He's
to
got-
worry about.
Well, he's got Jordan Love.
But
back.
Kyle
That was his
also,
main injury.
but Kyle also faced Justin this week, so that's why he had a
Yeah.
record week. So
And you'll
That's what I was saying. It only makes sense for him to go off.
Uh-huh. Yep. It's pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, it must be nice.
It's not. It's not at all.
be
Fuckers.
down 60 points before Sunday even starts. That sucks.
Before
Yeah,
Sunday.
it's fun to
players.
know you
Yeah.
lost on a goddamn
With only
Thursday.
3 players.
Hey, some people like to know if they're going to lose right away. Okay?
I don't.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Leave it up to goddamn chance on a Sunday, dude. Fuck that noise.
Yeah, I don't want to leave it to Monday night. Let me know Sunday night. Let me know.
Like,
Yeah.
Take it up the pooter on a Thursday. It sucks dick.
I don't care.
Kind of go through, and I hate to bring it up, but there are more injuries for Justin.
Yeah.
In Marvin Harrison Jr.
Ugh.
Um, Was there anyone else on your team that got hurt? Oh,
ETN
Travis
fucking got the goddamn hamstring injury after injuring his
And
fucking
for what
shoulder.
And for what it's worth, Tajay Spears got hurt.
Yeah, I'm dropping his fucking ass.
Tank Bigsby for the win.
Fuck Tank Bigsby. He fumbled, and then they benched his ass.
I think Matt's hurting right now because Chris Olave went down with concussion.
Yeah, that didn't help.
Yeah, he was literally just trying to trade me Chris Olave, and I'm like, okay, well, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of that now.
Same here, dude.
Yeah, he tried to trade me Chris Olave like twice.
I mean, Chris Olave, the trade that he threw out there, I'm assuming he did the same for you guys. It was a first-round pick for Chris Olave.
Well, so mine was slightly different. He's trying to give me Terry McLaurin and Chris Olave for Jaden Reed and Tyrone Tracy, and a first-round pick, and I'm like,
dang.
Are you smoking crack?
Good Lord.
Can you see what Tyrone Tracy's doing now? That like he's kind of out from the shadow of Devin Singletary, and on top of that, Jaden Reed's had some pretty great weeks since when Jordan Love's under center. So,
and the first round
like,
pick.
If that was just a straight trade, maybe. Yeah. If it was a straight trade, maybe. But for the first rounder, like.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much.
Kindly go fuck yourself.
I mean, you do have 3 first-round picks, Blake. So.
But it doesn't mean you got to give them away.
I need as many. I need as many.
Sure.
I need as many chances as I can get. I need as many chances as I can get to get Ashton Janty. So.
Not a chance, fucker. That's mine.
I'm gonna be fighting you for that 1-1 because I think I'm in 8th or 9th right now.
I'm tanking.
Bring it.
Calling it.
You're tanking.
I'm trying, and I'm losing.
So first round. So the trade that he threw out he threw me 2. One from 2 weeks ago was Tony Pollard and a first round for Chris Olave.
Yeah, you can't get rid of any of your running backs.
No, especially Tony Pollard when it was Tony Pollard that helped me beat Joe. And then,
it was one of your 2 wins. Congratulations.
It was one of my 2 wins. It's thanks to Tony Pollard.
Like, and the thing is I'm watching that game. I'm watching that game at work. I'm watching that game at work, right? I'm watching it at the jail, and I'm just like, this motherfucker's going to run it in. I just know it. I just know it because it's garbage time. It's garbage time, and why the heck would he not want to run it in? And sure as shit, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I made sure to make an emphasis of that last week.
So dumb.
Oh, fuck. That was
freaking useless garbage time.
Yeah, it sure was. And then Matt also threw a trade at me last week. It was Darnell Mooney, Tony Pollard, first round, for Scary Terry, Chris Olave, and Zach Moss.
Zach Moss is useless, but the other 2 are pretty good options.
Sure. My only concern with the Scary Terry, though, is his age. He's 29.
He's still got a few years.
He's already got with the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, he's still golden for a little while.
Still got a couple.
Yeah, and all he's been doing like the past couple of years is running wind sprints, dude. Like he's fine. Like nobody's been touching him.
Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest thing is I'm hurting in a lot of places right now, but running back is where I'm hurting the most.
Same,
you can't come for any running backs.
The only one that's not is fucking Joe. Joe's got the best ones on paper, but I'm
not hurting, but like in the future, I might be. So that's why I want Ashton Janty, and I'm glad I have 3 picks to try and throw at that. So we'll see.
Bring it. I'll take all 3 of your picks for the number 1 overall.
I'm going to be like my team and just sell the league for Ashton Janty. Go Cowboys, and you fucking dumbasses.
Oh, dude, that would be sick if you went to the Cowboys.
Oh, I'd be so happy.
I would masturbate for you. That would be
why? They don't have the line anymore.
Really happy. Maybe it would make Zach. I mean,
no, but they will
give
them
him
time
time
to running back, dude.
Give them time to gel. It'll get there.
Well, what if they make a trade at the deadline?
Good for a rookie. They're not going to. My freaking GM is Jerry Jones.
Go get Chuba Hubbard on the cheap.
He's irreplaceable.
Go get Chuba Hubbard on the cheap.
He's
they would.
He's
I don't think the Panthers
irreplaceable.
would let him
He
go.
decides to not
Why?
do anything
They got
in free
Brooks.
agency, yells at radio hosts for asking him why.
I saw that.
I was
saw
just
that
about to
today.
mention that, what Blake said. It was...
They asked
It
him
was-
a completely relevant and fair question, and he went off on them, trying to say that he was going to try and get them fired.
Yeah,
So he's
for
like
no
the
reason.
Vince McMahon of NFL
That was the
owners.
That was the first
Yeah.
comparison I made. Is that he's basically Vinnie Mac at the end of his career. So
Hilarious.
I was talking about this the other day and basically said that literally all the Mike McCarthy hiring was replacing the Band-Aid that is the open wound on Jerry Jones's back end of his ownership. That's all it is.
Well, didn't Mike McCarthy lie to get the job, and he actually admitted that?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he said he was a
He's
good
not
coach.
An NFL coach. He's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough. I wouldn't have believed him.
Not with that resume.
But
Do
Aaron
you boys have
Rodgers.
any predictions for any other trades coming up? Trade deadline's in November, so
Yeah, I do.
What
I think.
trade deadline
I
is
think.
what week in the NFL?
November
Is it
5th.
10?
Yeah, November 5th is the trade deadline, and so I
That's
could
what,
see
3
the
weeks from
Cardinals.
now?
Yeah, about 2 or 3 weeks. I can see the Cardinals unloading Buda Baker and James Conner both at the deadline, and Hopkins getting moved from Tennessee.
Buda makes sense.
that was going to be mine. Hopkins is gone. He's not going to stay with Tennessee. He does not want to be there.
And Calvin Ridley at
Well,
this
I mean,
point.
He could get targeted 8 times with 0 catches, like Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
8 targets, 0 catches. That's incredible.
And
That is absolutely amazing. It was great to watch Calvin Ridley get 0.9 points.
I think we also need to keep an eye on the Cleveland Browns,
Oh man,
and maybe Myles Garrett gets moved
just like
to
fire sale
maybe,
kind of
maybe the Lions with Hutchinson out now, make a super aggressive move and go get Myles
thing. I was
Garrett.
actually thinking. Max Crosby maybe.
Max Crosby too,
You think the Raiders have fire sale?
well, I mean they got rid of Adams, and I mean fire sale is definitely a loose term
I mean,
because you only got a
but
third.
that was coming.
Max
Yeah,
is
but I
one
mean,
that
like-
I was having my eye on too.
he was clearly their best offensive player. Like,
Yeah, but they weren't using him the
That's
way
not the
he
point.
wanted to be used. So
but he's still he's a valuable piece. Like you could have
Yeah.
traded him for whatever. You just gave him away for peanuts. Like I said.
Yep.
So I mean, like you're punting on offense. Why not get high value for defense too? Because Antonio Pierce is not going to hang on to that coaching job much longer. So.
Oh no. And honestly, edge rusher will get you more. I mean, we learned that
like
as
to
Cardinals fans with the Hopkins market. Like we thought we were going to get something, and we got jack shit for Hopkins. So I don't think aging wide receivers, granted that he's still a good wide receiver, dictate much as far as draft compensation's been going. But an edge rusher, still in his prime, like Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, yeah, they're going to get some draft capital for him.
So Hopkins to the Chiefs.
Ooh, that would be sexy
As
for
much
the
as I hate to
Chiefs.
say it,
I mean, that probably makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. As much as I would hate to see those motherfuckers get
But
a good receiver,
they barely use the pass
Ryan would
catchers
like
they
to
got
see
now.
for sure. Well, yeah, but I mean, they're still winning games. So I mean, whatever they're doing, they're just going to keep doing. Now they get Kareem Hunt on his second win, so who
Right.
knows?
it'll just open up the run even more than it already is.
I don't know. I think if
I
it's
wouldn't
not
mind
broke,
that
don't
means I
fix
can
it.
actually use him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's why Patrick Mahomes is going to be on the bench next week.
Well, you got Baker Mayfield, dude. What? He's the number 1 quarterback in the league. Why would you not start him?
Yeah, I picked him up for pennies.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And
It was somehow, I think, a week 4 pickup. Week 4
no
pickup.
I don't think so. I expected him to have a good year. I did not expect him to have the kind of year that he's having.
Yeah, insane numbers.
That's
Yeah, I need to start playing Chris Otten over Kyle Pitts.
Oh, Kate Otten, yeah.
Yeah,
I think you should start anybody over Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Not entirely true.
If you bench him, your frustration is going to be reduced greatly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He can't disappoint you if you never intended to start him.
He's not playing.
I mean, it'll hurt less if he goes off on your bench than getting 0 while he's in your starting lineup.
Yeah, especially, I think I'm playing Kyle this week.
Well, he's coming off a high, so you can probably get him on the rebound.
Actually, no, it is Kyle. Yeah, I was one extra week ahead.
Well, good luck. Hopefully, Jordan Love is not playing the Cardinals again.
Ugh.
No, Jordan Love is playing Houston actually.
Well, fuck. Drake May just threw 3 touchdowns against him, so good luck.
Yeah, but that's one thing about the Texans, though. They may not have a fantastic defense, but that offense is firing on all cylinders right now.
Is it?
I mean,
Yeah.
they don't have Nico Collins, and that's a big hurt. They haven't had Joe Mixon for a whole lot of it, so
I think Mixon is what makes that whole thing go.
I kind of agree with that.
I mean, it was nice though because with Nico Collins hurt, that meant Stephon Diggs got the ball a lot more.
Selfish. So selfish.
Yes, that's where this is coming from.
Hey,
Selfish.
I'm just saying.
I get it.
From a fantasy owner, it was great.
I'm selfish too. I get it.
And, I mean, from a fantasy standpoint also, if you happen to be like me and have Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins, a DeAndre Hopkins move to Kansas City would be great for both of them.
I think anybody out of
that-
Tennessee would be a pretty good move.
Yeah. Except Tony Pollard. He's actually doing okay.
Okay, I
He's-
should rephrase it. Any receiver.
There it is.
Because
Is
Will
there-
Levis is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, he's definitely up there
If it
with,
weren't for Deshaun
with the
Watson,
truck.
like he would be one of the worst.
Yeah, because, oh gosh, yeah, it's, and I hate to bring it up because we're mainly fantasy football, but I think it's a key point to bring up because we talked about it a few weeks ago, but this week, specifically the Jets-Bills game, was one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen. That was up there with the Seahawks-Packers Hail Mary replacement refs call.
Would they finish with the touchdown, fumble, touchdown, turnover, defensive touchdown, whatever call that ended up being that game?
Don't know. I didn't
In
watch
Yeah.
was
the Jets-Bills game.
No.
No,
He's talking about the
yeah.
replacement
The
refs.
thing that took 5 minutes for
It was Packers
no.
Seahawks.
I'm talking about the replacements.
Yeah,
Oh,
Call.
Packers
the
Seahawks.
Packers Seahawks.
Oh.
I just remember it because I ended up on the positive side. But it
We're still
was
talking about like
one.
fucking 13 years ago.
Yeah, I talk about
They
it.
haven't left.
Because
They haven't
as
left.
a Seahawks fan, you live in the past because that was the prime years.
Well, that was the beginning of Russell Wilson. I remember because he fucking started against the Cardinals and they gave the Seahawks 4 timeouts.
They
Oh,
gave him
shit.
that, and then well, I'm gonna look up here the penalty yards.
For last night's game, it was
For last
over
night's game,
220, I believe. I believe there's 23 accepted penalties,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it
Let's
depends
see.
on the crew that you
and
get.
there was at least 3 or 4 offsetting penalties.
There was 94 yards against the Bills and 110 for the Jets.
God damn.
Yeah, so 104.
Well, sometimes you get like when a game's going on, you can kind of feel that a penalty is going to come. Like if a team's been beaten down quite a bit, and if they're like the home team, late in the
Oh,
third,
but some of
you're
these
gonna.
penalties.
Well, no. What I'm saying is like late in the third, you're going to see the home team get a call that gives them a first down on a third down, even though you didn't see it. As just a makeup call, like it happens in every single game. It's very like almost scripted.
It felt like they were trying to give the Jets the victory last night for sure.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me. Aaron Rodgers is a poster boy for the NFL.
Ugh. Gosh,
as a
don't even
Cowboys
get me
fan,
started
I
on that
disagree with
kid. Aaron Rodgers is just so annoying to hear him speak, to watch him, his mannerisms on the sideline. Just, I can't stand him, man. He's one of the greatest to play the game, but good lord, I can't stand
Well, I
a
mean,
piece of shit.
No, I mean, it's a pretty apt description calling him the LeBron James of the NFL.
Yeah, that could not have been a better way to put it.
And people are delusional to think that. People are adamant that he didn't get his coach fired, or all making excuses as to why Saleh got fired. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden the head coach that gets fired, and now all of a sudden you're making Devontae Adams trade. Who's really calling the shots there? Who's really calling the shots? It's not the GM. It's not the owner. It's
And
Aaron
they have
Rodgers.
a phenomenal game last night too.
Well, I wouldn't say
it's
phenomenal.
probably
They
more
lost.
The owner and the GM that were probably more on the. They were more on the side of
but-
Rodgers than anything, and they're doing what he wants. So I mean, they're probably all in it together.
Yeah.
Well, and they probably want to keep Mr. Rogers happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, who doesn't want to keep their future quarterback of 40 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is not going to help you build towards the future.
No, it's
Give me 1 second.
It's
Now you
definitely-
got a wide receiver that's just as old.
yeah. It's definitely Super Bowl or bust for sure.
Bust.
Yeah,
is
they're
my
playing
guess.
for the Super Bowl in the next 2 years. Sure, trying to at least.
Oh, I was like,
Right,
not a
yeah.
chance.
I mean,
They ain't
have
getting
the
there.
running back in Brees Hall.
Yeah, but they don't
Braylon
use
Allen,
him.
you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Brees Hall's not even going to be on that
I
team
mean,
next year.
They're not going to because Brees Hall is very good. Brees Hall's amazing, man. I don't want.
He's great
I will hear no.
when
slander
used
about that.
properly.
I'm just pissed he didn't get a touchdown last night, motherfucker.
Well, yeah. Just,
When is Brees
It
Hall?
was $120. $120 I missed out on because he couldn't get a fucking touchdown.
He
it's a
tried.
gambling problem. That's
He
not.
tried.
That's not another game.
He tried. They
I
call
know,
They call
multiple
Allen's
times.
number. They call Allen's number at the goal line for some reason.
And
It's
Allen couldn't even get in.
It's like, well, he did, but there was that BS holding penalty. But I mean, Allen and Brees are like Bijan and Tyler Algier. Like, oh, you got the really sexy young back. Here, have this no-name second-tier running back get all the fantasy points and touchdowns.
Ooh, I will hear no slander of Tyler Algier. That is awesome. He still has the rookie record for yards on the Falcons over Bijan. So
Oh, fuck off.
I drafted him. Fuck you. Just,
Oh, I know you did.
I only dropped him because the goddamn Falcons didn't know what they were doing. They could have built a team all around Algier, but no, they took the sexy fucking pick, and now their team is still just blech. They still
Well,
can't
what's funny is-
generate a fucking pass rush to save their dicks.
What's funny is they could get so much for him too. With how many teams could use a running back right now, they could get a lot for Algier.
They really could.
No way, dude. They're watching Boise State film. They're like,
I don't know. I don't know if you get a
Did it take a
ton.
third one?
Yeah, you'd probably get like a second or a third for him. But anything like that, like, I think that's about it. Which, I mean, I guess is better than nothing. But
Yeah.
I mean, now that Blake's out of the fucking chat at the moment, Cowboys need a fucking running back so hard
sure do.
because they have no running game. So
Yeah, but
whoever that guy is, whoever the dude that goes to the Cowboys is going to be like a golden ticket kind of guy.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
but
saying. Like, I mean, they could trade him to the Cowboys and get some capital there.
Jerry Jones ain't making those
You
moves. He
have
said
Jerry
so.
Jones, who apparently.
He made the moves already.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones can make that move.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Openly talking about Jonathan Brooks in the draft before he was even. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
It's painful. It's painful to watch.
There's,
What happened?
if there's one owner that I want to
Sorry about
see just fail and just not exist anymore, it's Jerry Jones.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, his team could be so much better if he
Arthur
just
Blank
steps away
Also,
for the Falcons. What about
He's
the
got
Jags?
that,
The Jags owner, Shad
he's got-
Khan.
he should probably walk away because that team is hot garbage.
Yeah. Oh, how the
It's
mighty
so
have
bad.
fallen.
I called it when they were 0-4. They were hot garbage.
Once they fire their head coach, I think if they can get rid of their head coach and their offensive coordinator, they'll have legitimate fantasy options. But until then, it's going to be tough sledding.
Luckily, they're at least for the. If there's one record that the Detroit Lions have, it's to be the only team to have 0 wins, and this year they're safe to maintain that because there's at least every team has at least 1 win right now.
Yep.
Yeah, every team had like 1 win by week 3. It was impressive.
Yeah.
Or sorry, no, Jacksonville still had 0 wins by week 4.
Did
They
they win a
didn't
game?
get their first
Really?
win until week 5.
Yeah, their first win was against the Colts.
Yeah.
They beat the Colts? Shit.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
It's not.
I think that was the game that.
Anthony
Yeah,
Richardson's a
Richardson
piece of
went
shit.
I believe that's their only.
Would you like Drake May?
At this point, I'll take anything over Richardson. Good lord.
You got to hang on to him at least a little while longer.
you got
clearly
somebody.
frustrating, though.
It's so.
You haven't picked up
so
Sam Darnold.
brutal. So brutal. Yeah, and then
Who
Richardson
picked
was
up,
supposed to
Jared
start.
Goff after I dropped him.
Yeah,
Joe did.
because
That's what I'm saying.
Anthony Richardson was supposed to start this week. The whole week they're like, "Oh, Richardson's good to play. Richardson's good to play." Last minute, oh no, out. And now I got to scramble to go pick up Jared
Keep
Goff.
this in mind. Keep this in mind. Had you started Richardson over Goff, you wouldn't have beat the record.
Well, I'm just,
There's
like we
no
don't.
way Richardson's putting up what Goff put up.
But we don't know. We don't know. We don't know that.
But it's also not the point of the whole argument. Like, this goes back to the thing I've been saying for like 3-4 weeks now. Is that
About the injuries.
About the
Yeah.
NFL or the teams not reporting the injuries or
Yeah, they're hiding. They're hiding
the
this
appropriate
crap.
designation. I know this year specific. I still go back to week 1 when Scotty had fucking Christian McCaffrey
Yeah.
in his starting lineup because they didn't say anything.
Me too.
That asshole he's not going to play till November.
Yeah, I had him in
So-
in one of my other
What the hell?
leagues. I had him in one of my other leagues. I was like, "What do you mean he's out?" Like that night, I'm like, "Where'd this even come from? This wasn't even talked about. This wasn't a worry. This was nothing."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, now the dude's got
Exactly.
freaking Vagisil cream that he's got to put on his ankles, and hoping to God that he can heal.
It's good for the ankles.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good for the ankles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the part that still blows me away, though, is they didn't tell us until an hour before a game starts, but they kind of, but it's like, guys, he's out until at least November.
yeah.
Well,
They're
you
saying
gotta be
after the
lucky
bye
if
in week 10.
They have to throw your player. Well, they have to throw your player on the IR in order for you to get a surefire dude that's out. Like, I got Puka Nacua. They put him on the IR almost immediately. I was like, okay, cool. At least I know I can put him on the IR. I can pick up somebody else. And then I get cursed, like, he's put on the IR. They're like, oh yeah, he's gonna need another month. I heard that fucker
Yeah.
last week. I'm like, well, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's just the story of Justin's season right now. Is
So it
if
goes,
you're
man.
on Justin's team, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, he's playing the Justin Jefferson role this year.
Oh, yikes! That was rough.
That's how my wide receivers are. If I have a wide receiver, they're going to get hurt. Neighbors
Yours?
out, Cup out, Rice out. If I got a wide receiver, they're going to be out. Last
fair.
year, Mike Williams out.
Mike Williams is always hurt, though.
Yeah, but I'm just showing you that my luck with wide receivers has been terrible.
Well, I mean, when Rice will get bad next year, right in time for a suspension. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that next year's problem turned into this year's issue.
we'll see. I
Because
don't
now
think
I
he's going to get
lost him for
suspended
this
at all,
year.
so I wouldn't worry about it.
I think 4 games at least, if not
No
6.
chance. They're pushing it out this far. There's no way they're going to do anything.
People have forgotten by then.
Yep, probably. If they win, especially if they win the Super Bowl, fucking forget it.
They're going to remember more that his mom stole a package from somebody's porch than they will that he crashed his car.
I didn't even know she did that.
Yeah, it came out.
Yeah, it was on Sleeper.
Shortly.
Was it?
Yeah, it was on Sleeper.
It came out like
my
last
God.
week. It was kind of a funny video.
She walks past it, sees the camera, and then comes back, and you can kind of see her foot kicking something. And then she looks at the camera, bends down, stands back up, clear package in her hand, and walks off.
What a bitch.
Like why?
Like, you see the camera. What are you doing?
I hope somebody kicks her in the fucking puss with some cleats. Like, that's bullshit.
Jesus. Okay, with that, we're gonna jump into some comments.
She's a fucking thief, dude. She's a thief.
That's what I'm saying. I'm with Justin. I mean, thieves are my biggest
Street justice, man. Street justice.
Yep. I can't
Street
stand a
justice.
thief, man.
Right to the cooch. So we're gonna check out some comments that we had this week. We're gonna check out Spotify first. The first one that we got coming from Groovy Guru, who just happens to be Justin. Seeing as this is a music streaming platform, much like pro wrestlers, what song would you choose for your personal entrance music?
Oh, wow.
Walkout song.
Justin,
I
know yours, so go.
I am
Don't know
terrible with song names.
Probably, I don't know.
Oh man, this is a good one.
I have two answers and a quick story about that.
Since you know your answer, go ahead and start us so we can
Fair
kind of
enough.
think about it.
Back when I was 18, I dabbled with trying to be a pro wrestler, so I was in an amateur show, and I actually had to pick a song to come out to in a Royal Rumble type scenario.
Yeah, with
Came
Casey,
out to
right?
Disturbed's Fear. It's off their first album. Yeah, that album dropped. That album came out like 25 years ago, so that dates me quite a bit. That would not be my song choice this year. I don't know. Careless Whisper would be kind of funny.
Walk out with an inflatable unicorn.
There's a song that I'm really into right now. Yeah. There's a song I'm really into called Faak. It's Faak. It's by a German band. It's like Einsbringer or something like that. It's very, very entertaining. Maybe. God damn.
Whoever's playing music, you're gonna need to mute that.
That'll be me. Hold on. Bam.
Gonna mute you.
Those
or
band
my-
names playing in the background. Sorry about that.
That was his entrance music.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I would totally have them play my entrance music. 5 Japanese women dressed like maids playing fucking rock music? Hells yeah, dude. Hey, they kick ass. Fuck you. So, God damn. I think Good Fucking Music by Solence is a pretty good song, but probably couldn't play that everywhere. I don't know. Gravemakers and Gunslingers by Coheed and Cambria is a pretty fucking solid song, so maybe I'll go with
That's
that.
pretty solid.
Coheed Cambria has some good songs to walk out to.
Yeah, Welcome Home was like a good song for a
I
while.
was gonna say, Welcome Home is gonna be a good one.
But I want something like the kicks right off this, like, I like Gravemakers and Gunslingers a little bit, so I'll go with that one.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I had to go through some songs through my head, through my Apple Music and everything. It's very. Why I like it is because the hook is immediately recognizable. Yes, it's gonna sound kind of cheesy, and there goes Blake. But it's Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes.
I get it.
It's very, very easy to walk out to.
There's a constant drum beat with the bass or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with some Seven Nation Army.
No,
I
nothing wrong
think
with
For
that.
Whom the Bell Tolls, Metallica.
It's a pretty solid one.
Whenever someone says Metallica for a podcast, I immediately think of Enter Sandman and the
I thought about it, but that's Mariano Rivera's,
Yeah,
and you
can't
can't
take that.
replace the greatest closer of all time.
Nah.
So
Well, isn't it For Whom the
So-
Bell Tolls the beginning of Zombieland?
Yeah. The first one, yeah.
I think so.
mhm.
That's what I
Yep,
think of
yep.
whenever you said that. I was like, oh, I could see zombies falling off of a like lifeguard tower into some goatie's front. All right. That's
Mine
fine.
would be Veil of My Outrun, but it's like literally right, the breakdown part of it. It's so good. It's such a freaking cool riff.
Oh, so you're so metal, Blake.
I mean, just a little
I
bit,
know you
a
are.
little
I
bit.
know, like that was. It's not even a joke. I know you are.
It was gonna be Attila. I can't remember the name of the song right now, which is bothering me, so I'm trying to find it. But the problem that I saw with it is literally the first like set of words is, "Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck do you think you are?" So
Yeah.
I don't.
Kids
Yeah,
won't
but you
like
can
that
always
one.
edit where the song starts.
Yeah, but that's literally the best part of the song, and why it's a good. It's why it's a good walkout
Kids
song.
would not like that one. Kids would not like
Yeah.
that one.
So
He's ready for the
That or,
Netflix Attitude Era.
yeah, that or New Noise by Refuse.
Okay. Writing these down so I can look them up.
Fuck
Joe,
is a
did you
very
have any-
aggressive.
Yeah, I would
song,
do
so-
"Hail to the King" by Avenged Sevenfold. I just like that pump up
Nice.
music. Love that
Nice.
pump up music.
Some good stuff.
That's a
All right.
damn good.
We had one other comment over on the Spotify side, and it was from Honky Kong, who we also know as Blake.
That me.
Being Dynasty, how do you deal with the prevalent amount of injuries this year? So an actual football question.
Well, yeah.
I cry about it
I
on a
think
weekly
that's
podcast.
right.
You utilize the 3 IR spots that we have so graciously been given and suffer through the rest of the injuries.
That might need to be
I mean, the big
boosted
thing,
to
a lot of
10.
these players are not getting put on IR.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but if
'cause
they're
that's the
ruled
thing, is,
out,
like,
you
a lot
can
of
make.
these
Some
guys
teams.
have not been put on IR. That's
Yeah,
kinda
but if
what I
they're
was
ruled
going into,
out,
is
you
that,
can
like,
make.
as long as they're ruled
Yeah.
out, you can actually throw them down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can throw them down in those spots, but like then it's literally a week to week game. If you've picked up somebody that you want to play in their stead, when the injury report resets and they lose that out designation, you have to move them from your lineup, and it just becomes like a whole thing. But
Yeah, and it's
If you're lucky
annoying.
Like me, and Cooper Cup just gets designated out for 4 weeks without IR.
well, that's
You're
what I'm
lucky.
saying. So like you can't really rely on the out designation because a lot of the time it ends up changing. So like a lot of these people, being that it's Dynasty, you don't necessarily want to get rid of, or you don't want to even drop because you know they'll get scooped up by somebody in the league.
Sure
Even if
do.
It's not like a widespread. Everybody wants them, because I think.
I mean, our rosters are deep.
I mean, our rosters are
For
deep,
sure.
but
But I mean, like, what more to piggyback on what Blake was saying. Obviously, like us being a dynasty, the whole dealing with injuries thing can be a little bit more tricky because if this is redraft, you don't have to think about a dude that's going to be out for the majority of the year. You just cut him loose. You just give him the finger and kick him on his way. But,
McCaffrey, you drop and then move on.
well, I mean, even with somebody with McCaffrey, like, you got to hope that you have an IR spot and then he'll be
Exactly.
ready for the playoffs.
like I know. I know that's a problem for Scotty because he's occupying one of those spots and he's not going to drop him.
No.
No.
And
Well,
he already
no, I
like,
wouldn't
and
in
he picked up,
Dynasty, yeah.
and he
But
picked up JJ
redraft-
McCarthy to put on his taxi squad to start the year. So his shit's been full since like the beginning of the year, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
that's what makes it really tough. Like you really got to balance the like the current value of a player for the potential value of the future too. Like when you want to make a transaction, you're like, well, this guy's good now, but this guy that I want to pick up, like he could be good later in the season. He could be good immediately, maybe, but definitely next year. Like when do you want to make that transaction? Like a lot of things go into these transactions that we make.
Yeah.
It's so
They're
like,
never
it-
easy.
Yeah, it's definitely a different dynamic than the whole cut and dry redraft method. And honestly, like my personal issue with dealing with injury players is I get emotionally attached to a lot of players, and I don't want to cut them, and that's a real
Yeah.
problem for me.
Well, because let's see, just for like Scotty, for instance, like he's got Micah Parsons that's out. He's got Nico Collins that's on IR. You got Christian McCaffrey that's on IR. And these are guys that are still sitting on his bench.
Because
They're
his
not-
IR is full.
Yeah, they're not in that designation. So like, and
Yeah.
none of those guys in our leagues, especially like, you're not going to drop Micah Parsons. But if you don't have
think
those
we-
IR spots filled out, like,
Right. I think
can
we
you really
can.
do?
Well, I think after, like, I mean, this year is a very extreme example of injuries. I can't remember a lot of the star players, or nearly as many, being hurt with such a high capacity this early in the season. I don't know if it just seems like that to me, just because I've been impacted so much, but it does feel like a lot of the top dudes are just all beat to shit by now.
Yeah.
And we can definitely revisit the idea of expanding the IR spots. I don't know how many we can add. We can think about adding more just because of this scenario, but I don't want to add any more just because people want to hoard players. Like, that's the tricky thing. Like, if you know that you have, like, if somebody picks up a rookie, like, not that it's against the rules or anything, but what Scott did with J.J. McCarthy, I don't want people doing that. Like in mass anyway, just to, like, hoard a bunch of dudes that are rookies that you know are going to be good going forward. I don't want you to get, like, a whole bunch of them just to fill your IR spots, just so you have extra quote-unquote taxi spots. I can't let that happen.
No, not at all.
So there's a little fine balance we kind of try to arrive at.
Yeah.
So,
It comes
They're
back
going to
to
allow one rookie injury pickup per year, like one direct IR you know is going to be out for the year. You can only do it once, kind of thing.
Or just, like, if you want to pick them up, then you have to waste your roster spot. Like, you're just going to suffer for that year. That's what it is now. So, but I'm just thinking
that'd
of,
be
like,
the same, of moving him from the taxi to make sense.
well,
but it's only an idea of just, like,
that-
lessening the blow is what we've been feeling this year. It's just an idea. We could revisit it during the manager meeting.
And I kind of agree. I'm not sure anything actually needs to change, but, like, the injuries have been just so prevalent this year that it begs discussion, at least, like, how with these players actually meaning more to everybody because of the fact that it's Dynasty, like, how do we go around that? And it sounds like you just kind of, if you've got spots open, you try to utilize them as much as you can, and by spots I mean IR spots. So you use that out strat, but at the same time, by using that strat, you're not really able to hold on to anybody long term to kind of fill that gap, because you're going to have to drop somebody every week, at least for a little bit, so you can actually make changes to your roster. But
And sometimes you're just screwed.
It's funny that Blake brought up Scott's team, though, because well,
honestly, you're just shit out of luck, honestly.
I mean, it happens in the
isn't
NFL,
Scott
you know.
second right now. So I mean, even with a full IR spot and 3 players taking up spots on his bench with injuries, he's second in the league.
Yes,
so
he is.
his team is well rounded enough to overcome 6 injuries.
He's second right now, but what happens if another injury hits him?
Yeah.
He's fucked. Like,
Well, Nico Collins was just last week, and he lost this week. So, I mean, there is a trend starting to happen. It's just he was well-rounded enough to withstand 5 injuries at least before he really started seeing the effect of it.
well,
And most of
it's
us
just
don't
like-
have that depth.
Well, going in from, like, if you want to use his team for an example, he thought he was super deep at running back. And he was, up until week 2 of last year when Nick Chubb got that injury. And then suddenly he lost that depth behind him. I mean, he lucked out because Christian McCaffrey had the best year of his of his life. But he lost everything, like, in terms of depth behind him. So,
yeah. Well, and
We-
then, like, just to
it's-
kind of show
it's fragile.
another example, I'm looking at Justin's team
And
right
then
now.
stole Saquon Barkley.
he traded legitimately. Shut up.
It's a legitimate trade.
I'm looking at
That paid off immediately for
looking
him.
at Justin's team, and this is all the guys with injury designations on his team.
I appreciate you not laughing while you did that.
Not
Damn it.
until you made me laugh. So you
Yeah,
got
well.
Travis Etienne, that's questionable. You got Tajay Spears, questionable. Marvin Harrison, out. Lad McConkey, questionable. Kyrie Curl, questionable. Jay Holland, questionable. Devin Kane, out. Puka Nacua, IR.
Yep,
Just a couple.
I'm kicking ass.
Which is
Yeah.
funny because you still don't have the most points scored against, considering you think everybody has the biggest week against you. That
That'd be me.
Look at the fucking weeks, dude.
That goes to Joe.
That'd be me.
I know, but goddamn, dude, you can't deny it. Rivalry week, fucking Nick goes crazy, and then Kyle gets over 200 points against me this last week. He
Yeah.
beat me on Thursday.
Hey, I've decided that, like, if you score over 170, you're gonna beat me.
I'll be
Yeah,
happy if
you
I can
go
break
over.
150.
Yeah.
I stay solid between 150 and 165.
I was gonna say,
I would sell my left nut to do that.
Well, you just need to get healthy again. That's your thing. It's the health on your side.
Yeah, and I'll get healthy towards the end of the year when it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, he said it on Sunday. That trophy's going to stay there for at least one more year.
Yeah, I'm not gonna show it right now because that's a long walk for me.
But so just so we're not running too long, I'm gonna have to cut you guys off
That's
there,
fine.
and we're gonna jump over to our YouTube side now. We had a few actually on this side, so we'll have to keep them a little short on this one. So the first thing was Nick has some shit on his wall and it needs cleaned. I recommend Tolbert's tip toe cleaning.
That was me talking trash for when the Cowboys actually beat the Steelers, and I wasn't like in the pits of despair that I'm in now. So
I needed to start with that one because that didn't have a question.
It's not a question, but it's
I will be getting another one though. They've got a Halloween one that I've got to get. So
well, you got to get one for me when I lose to you in the last week of the season too. So.
I'll let you decide if you want one from the wall. Or if you want me to get a new one.
Don't give a shit. I don't want it at all.
It's
I'm going to have it shipped to your house. But
the actual question that we got from Blake was, how do you guys decide when to cut bait on a player being that it's Dynasty? Which actually kind of ties into the injury stuff.
Not necessarily.
A little bit.
I mean, it can.
Sometimes you just need to cut it. Sometimes, especially if they're injury prone or they were already not having a great year and you just want to cash out a little bit.
I can speak to this first for sure.
Yeah.
I initially, like in our very first draft, I drafted Tyler Algier as like my fourth running back. He was fine his rookie year. Then the Falcons went and drafted Bijan Robinson, so I considered him to have no value, so I basically dropped him for all intents and purposes. I mean, I traded him, but it was a nothing trade. I traded him for a dude.
Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter for that. I also drafted Tank Bigsby last year. I dropped him early this offseason because of his fumbles, and I thought he was dog shit. Apparently not. Apparently Doug Peterson loves him. So I don't know when to drop players, because I'm really bad at it so far.
Well, yeah.
So I'm afraid to drop anybody else because they might blow up.
Part of the reason I brought that up is because like I am currently facing that dilemma. So I've got first round picks, actually maybe first round picks, I don't remember, that I've spent on guys like, no, I didn't spend a first round pick on Jalen Warren. But I've got Jalen Warren and I have Najee, and then I've also got Charbonnet. And like, problem that I'm facing is I have Tyron Tracy on my taxi squad. Do I want to elevate him? Do I want to drop one of those guys? Because I'm pretty much at the RB limit. And it's not necessarily something that I want to do, but like if I'm going to cut bait on one of my running backs, I think at this point it might have to be Jalen Warren because he's not showing the promise that he did last year. And Najee has been been the more productive back. I'm not going to get rid of Najee right now just because he still has some value. And Charbonnet, he's valuable anytime that Kenneth Walker is out. So, like...
And goal line.
Yeah, and goal line. Because he'll get a goal line pass where if they're not trying to run it in with Walker. So, like...
Well, yeah, it also makes sense to split up the guys that you have on the same team, too.
Yeah, and I had I'd taken Warren as a handcuff because I just assumed Najee had just come off a year where he was injury prone, so I'm like, okay, having his backup isn't a bad idea. But at this point, it's more of a hindrance to me to have that handcuff than it is to maintain having that handcuff that I never play, as opposed to having a promising rookie that's starting to get more snap share and is producing. So, like...
But I think with your dilemma, I mean, again, you're bringing up Tyron Tracy. He's a rookie. He's on a questionable offense right now with a hurt running back. That's why he's getting some of the touches that he's getting. Yes, he's had two really good weeks, but I mean, outside of those 2 really good weeks where the star running back was hurt, once that star running back's coming back, is he still going to be as productive or as dominant as he has been, or is he going to go back to more of that backup passive role?
That's the other part.
Star in quotations.
Yeah, that's the other part of that.
Yeah. I was.
They've already come out and said that like he's earned
Devin Singletary. Yes, I was.
Carries. He's earned more of a role in that offense. So like, there's no reason for me to believe that he's not at least going to be decently productive moving forward, considering what he's been
correct, but he's been productive in the last 2 where Devin Singletary's been hurt and they've been without their number 1 wide receiver Malik Neighbors.
Right.
Once they get both of those components back, is he going to go back to that? I'm just saying those are the pros and cons you've got to weigh when you weigh those decisions.
That's another part of it.
Because I made that choice once and it did not pan out well for me.
Well, that's the whole point of the question. Like, how do you know when to cut bait?
Yeah.
The point, the main answer is we don't know yet because we're still pretty bad at it.
When you feel it in your nuggets, I guess. I mean,
but like
big things, yeah.
As a aside to that, there's guys that I drafted this year that I immediately bailed on.
Yeah.
Like Jerome Burton.
Yeah, but that's because you only have a certain amount of roster spots.
Well, yeah, but like Jerome Burton, I didn't cut until like week 2 or 3, and I drafted him this year. But that's because I figured he was going to at least get some looks with like the slow ramp up of Chase, and he didn't get any. He didn't record a catch. So I was like, you know what? I'm going ahead and cutting my losses on this and getting rid of him. And I drafted him in the 2nd round.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good for him right now.
So, and obviously there was a lot of other guys that I cut bait on real early just because I had so many picks, and limited roster spots.
Blake and I are both gonna run into having a lot of rookies next year.
It's gonna be the same thing.
Good luck with that. I'll have Ashton. Ashton, you guys get the rest.
So I'm gonna jump in there also. Joe had a couple of questions over on the YouTube side also. Thoughts about adding FAB budget?
I'm curious about the about Fab. I mean,
maybe not budget, but limitation.
Budget is how you have to do it, though. That's the thing.
There is a limitation.
Well, you can't make a drop ad limit.
There is one.
Oh yeah, it's 100, isn't it?
We don't have one right now.
I believe we do. Yeah, I think it's 100.
I think it's 100.
Yeah.
But we do?
Yeah.
Well, and you wager to see who gets whatever free agent that is coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of doing like the waiver, like.
And I think whoever bets the most gets him, and then that's deducted from their fab. But I think everybody else, they don't lose their fab. Right?
No, they don't.
No, they
do
not.
And if you tie some,
no, I know how the fab works.
I'm saying for some of the other people, like if you tie somebody on your bid, then it reverts to waiver priority.
That goes to priority.
But from what you were saying, Nick, I do believe currently we have a 100 move limit. And that's because one year somebody had like 217 moves. I'm not going to name names.
Yeah.
But
that was one of the Deagle kids, wasn't it?
Like, as far as
the lip smacking said itself.
It was you, man.
It was you. It was you, Joe. You're the reason that we have a limit.
Hey, I was trying to play the rosters.
I don't think we have that limit anymore, but also people aren't doing that shit anymore. So
and like I don't think the ad drops have been such an issue the last couple of years because Dynasty inherently reduces the amount of waiver claims that you have because people aren't constantly trying to turn over their roster and don't care and like can pick up the guy they just dropped the next week. That's not happening a whole lot. So Fab is an interesting like layer to add, but I'm not totally sure this league needs it just because it's Dynasty, and I don't think it would play nearly as well as it does in a redraft.
Yeah, most redrafts it works well just because, I mean, you're going in initially with your team that you just drafted, and so it helps with limiting the whole bounce back in and out sort of thing. Whereas Dynasty, you almost have like an attachment to your players, so.
Yeah.
You're not going to be jumping in and out as much as you would a redraft.
Especially on those weeks where you've got a guy that goes down and like he's down for the year, and you're going to have a major player that you can pick up, and you can sacrifice a hell of a lot of fab. You can do 50% of your fab in one move to get a guy, and then that's going to limit the rest of your moves for the rest of the year. So I
Right.
mean,
That's the whole idea of it. Like,
Yeah.
you want to blow your load on one dude because you think he's going to make a difference for that year.
yeah.
I mean, I'm intrigued by the idea of doing it. Like, I don't know how to implement it, or if anybody would be even on board to do it, because it's a foreign concept to a lot of us. So,
Well, and that's the
I mean,
one
I do like the
situation
idea
where I
on
think
paper.
Fab would play in a dynasty league is where it's like a critical guy like that. As far as picking up people week to week that you think are going to help you out, I don't think it really helps that much as far as dynasty goes because
well,
you're
in
already
Dynasty, that does add
you're already
different layer to
invested.
it.
So
Yeah.
It's something we can bring up at the manager meeting.
Yeah,
We
For
can
sure.
bring that
Like,
up.
it's fun to think about and how we could use it, but I don't know how
Yeah,
we
and
would
so
implement it.
I'm going
What's
to
the last question?
real fast. So we have two last ones. One we can actually be pretty quick with. Would you consider victory points? So if you put up the second highest scoring and still lose, you get a victory.
Nope.
That would be tough because it kind of turns into, to me, that almost turns into like, I don't know if you guys follow like soccer or anything, but with soccer, like wins you get 3 points, draws 1, losses 0. It kind of almost turns into like an EPL. Or
It's
even
similar to
NFL,
hockey. Only hockey.
Yeah,
people
point
and shit,
system
too.
instead
Yeah.
of
turns
a
into
win-loss
point
system,
instead
yeah.
of like a win-loss sort of thing. So I see the value in it, but I don't know if it never is translated into the NFL.
well,
Is
No,
it-
you
It's
just suffer
too-
through frustration like I have.
I have. The reason why I brought it up is because I'm currently going through this in my other Dynasty league. It's a median score, right? It's a 12-team league.
Uh-huh.
So the 6 highest scoring teams get a win, right? So any given week, you could possibly have
Okay.
2 wins. The records stay the same. But in this case where Nick,
Oh, I've
got
heard
beat
of
up by
that.
10 points, to the highest scorer, he doesn't get screwed. So that way you don't have a team that's 3-8 make the postseason and be an absolute first round bye. Like you still try to get like the most competitive teams into the postseason. So that way, because of the scoring, like you said, because Andy faces all these scrubbinos and he's barely putting up, league average. Meanwhile, I've got the most points scored against me, but I'm like the second highest scoring team. I don't get screwed because I'm in 2 and 4. Whereas if I got an extra win a couple weeks, I'd be higher up in the rankings. So it's just an interesting dynamic that, I
Right.
was listening to a couple podcasts explain it, and then I'm actually doing it, and it's just a very interesting way to kind of like enhance the league to where it balances out strength-wise instead of just like, oh, you got lucky that you placed the team against 10 people that were injured and you got the easy win,
well,
Yeah,
so
no,
my
I've
objection.
heard about it before.
Yeah, my objection would be to it is that like this whole league kind of feels like it was originally based at being more like NFL focused and kind of tried to be like the NFL in the sense that you had to play defensive players around your offensive players as well. And so like you're adding in a system that the NFL does not employ. So then it becomes more like fantasy based and trying to play the fantasy system as opposed to being more NFL focused, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
It kind of takes
it
away
does,
from it
like,
being
I mean,
a football
take-
game.
Take last week for instance. I mean, it's not it's not anybody's fault that they were facing Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift. I mean, the Bears faced the Panthers. That is what you got in the NFL. That is what you got in fantasy. That is cut and blank. I mean, it's not like the Panthers didn't get a award for trying. They got the L up on the scoreboard. It's an interesting concept, absolutely, but I mean, as somebody who just finished with the third highest and lost, I mean, it sucks that I lost, but it motivates me to not be the third highest and lose again.
No, but like Joe was saying, it
Yeah,
does
but
keep
you
the
can't
more
control
competitive
that.
teams in the race. The people that are
Yeah.
like, no, I'm just saying, like, but this is like the whole idea. Like what you were saying, like the people that score a whole bunch of points, those people still get like some kind of second plot, like a second silver medal,
Like a
kind of
half a
shit.
point.
Well,
Yeah.
they get something for their effort, and that keeps them like above the people that are like they lose and they're dog shit. Like it puts them like above that thing. So
Yeah, but at the same time, like in the NFL, like that's why strength of schedule would be a tiebreaker. Like you're still going to win X amount of games based off of like who you're playing, and then like if you're playing a bunch of the best teams in the league, yeah, that sucks for you, but you're going to end up with a record that's like 8-8 with a strength of schedule score that's higher, so that you could actually end up making the playoffs versus another 8-8 team. Now, I'm
Not
saying
really.
that's the
If you-
best place
if-
for that necessarily in fantasy, I'm saying it is a tiebreaker. I'm not saying it's one of the leading tiebreakers. I'm saying it's a tiebreaker, and that's the thought behind it. And I understand like the point value system would try and help keep competitive players in, but like if you're a competitive team in the NFL and you're losing a lot of close games to good teams, you're still losing games to close teams, and it doesn't help you get in the playoffs. You're still losing.
It's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea. We can expand on it. If we want to keep talking about it, we absolutely can. But
Right, these are thoughts outside the box. These are good thoughts to have, and that's totally.
Do your
encouraged, for
research.
sure.
Bring it to the managers meeting.
Yep. We'll add it on the docket. So the last one here before we close it out. This episode's gone a little bit longer than what we normally do, but
Totally fine. We got new blood in here. It was bound to happen.
yeah, new blood. So very last question from our commish. What would you do if a giant meteor was 1 hour away from crashing into the Earth? Basically, your life's last actions.
Oh Lord.
Oof.
Well, I only have an hour, so it's not
Yeah.
like you have a whole lot of time to do anything. So, I mean, honestly, I'm at home now, so I just grab the loved ones close to me and spend as much, obviously, the last hour together doing whatever.
Okay, it's cliche, but I mean that's.
I'd
what
probably go
It's
purge.
cliche,
I'd probably go.
but it's what I would do too.
I'd go purge mode. I'd go start murking mode.
Purge for an hour?
Yeah.
Purge for an hour?
Yeah.
Joe's going hunting at the zoo.
Actually, no. I'm gonna take Justin's old answer and take all my family out to the desert. We're gonna sit in lawn chairs with a cooler, and we're gonna drink until it happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. Yeah, definitely go try to find a view to go see it happen.
Yeah.
Not sure where, but maybe we'll go to like Canyon Lake because that's less than an hour away.
That's
So
fair.
we'll go to Canyon Lake and just sit on the lake and
Just
see
wait
what
for
we
the
get.
rubble to come over the horizon.
Exactly.
I'm grabbing a baseball glove and heading towards impact zone. That's what I'm doing.
Hopefully, it's less than an hour away.
Come on.
As close as I can get, man. I don't give a shit. Worst case scenario, I die immediately. Best case scenario, I get superpowers. So I mean, hey, whatever.
Hey, that would work out great. Well, boys, thanks for coming in. Sorry it ran a little late for those that were hanging out a little bit with us. We're going to close it out here, but again, thanks for hanging out with us. Whoever's out there listening, out there on Spotify or checking us out on YouTube. If you want us to read off your questions like we just did, you can leave us a comment over on Spotify. You stop that. Leave us a comment over on Spotify. You can leave us a comment on YouTube, and we will... If we get a lot, then we might not be able to get to all of them, but we'll at least find the good ones and make sure that we are able to at least hear from you guys. I'll try to figure out another poll. Maybe it's another injury one. Who's going to get injured next? If you're on Justin's team, you're probably going to be on the list. So,
Yeah, very likely.
Just put all his roster on the list and see how many people vote for what.
yep, exactly. That's all I'll do. I'll just take the remaining people on Justin's team and just be like, who's going to get injured
The
next?
5 that's left.
Sorry
Yeah,
for
the
the
fucking
fleeting
infirmary.
shot. My son was climbing up his walker onto my desk.
Oh, nice.
So, but if you're not able to leave a comment or anything, you can always shoot us an email. We do have a Gmail that I check on the weekly. It's at desertdynastyfootball@gmail.com. You can shoot us an email over there, and I'll be checking those out also. So leave us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are, and we'll see everyone after week 7.